Hello there everyone and welcome back. I'm going to play a little bit more of the Corsairs and then we'll see if I stick with them after that, or at least Eldari in general. For what we're going to be experimenting with is what I think is off the wall enough to kind of justify, at least for this video, since I'm going to be playing with 3 falls and a handful of Hellbore. And now what's the thought process on going a bunch of frigates as opposed to the Auroras like I did in the last episode? There are a couple of things. For one, the amount of points I need for 2 of these, actually I'll show it here, it might help a little bit. The points for these Hellbores are basically the exact same as an Aurora. Pretty damn close. They have the same hit point pool as a result of that. 400 health to the frigates as opposed to 800 on the Aurora. But the very subtle difference is they have extra firepower with a capital ship style of star cannon. On top of the pulsars and even the torpedoes is pretty consistent. It's going to be a lot trickier to hit with torpedoes, I won't lie, but in theory, this is more firepower just because of the star cannons, if I can use them properly. Secondly, there's a little bit more mobility, I think, as well. They actually are faster than the light cruiser, which is a very subtle thing, especially again with the last episode, kind of demonstrating how having a relentless opponent with good speed can cause a lot of problems, and this helps alleviate slightly. Thirdly, and I think the most important one, frigates do not suffer critical hits, at least in the traditional sense. My Aurora could lose components, it can lose weapons, and most importantly, it could lose its generator as well as the deck. Keep in mind this thing can sell a run to take advantage of a Shroud Hall. It can lose all those components and leave it incredibly crippled. A frigate, on the other hand, only has 3 kind of critical hit results to worry about. 1, doing full damage on the hull, which is already kind of pointless since mostly it's going to be lances hitting them and they already penetrate through half of this armor that they currently have. The second one will be fire results, which can actually be repaired due to the bone song, if I'm smart about it. And then the third and fourth, it would be losing a point of crew, which does worry me a little bit, due to just Corsair's trait of having poor crew complement in general, and destroying point defense, which isn't really a big deal, because as soon as I repair, the point defense gets recovered. And all of those can be managed a lot better than, say, a critical hit on my Aurora. We've seen an example of it when I played the Azioni especially. That was kind of the extreme end on how I can get screwed over by early critical hits. And Corsairs suffer that more so. The big thing, let's see, the 3 falls here serve another benefit which I really like to this fleet. The 3 falls capture an objective almost exactly as fast as a Void Stalker, if all 3 of them grab it at the same time. It's still like maybe 1 or 2 seconds off, or slower anyway, so there is that subtle nuance. But why I like it is because in the case for me doing YouTube videos, you kind of get an understanding of what fleets I like to utilize. And since I'm relying so much on stealth and hit and run and ambush tactics, at least this way, if I'm smart about my positioning and grabbing points like I did with the Void Stalker, my opponent may have no idea what I'm utilizing until it's too late. And there is more firepower, at least direct firepower, to be had with this fleet. A lot more star cannons, just all lesser range because Void Stalker's main strength is how extended its pulsars and star cannons can be. But there's still more firepower to cripple things that can isolate, more speed is another factor. And again, just more convenience for these Hellbore to kind of ignore critical hits, as opposed to like my Auroras. Although since they are kind of also like 400 health each, it is possible I will lose these frigates piecemeal, especially with the low crew complement if I'm facing off against like Space Marines or something like that, for example. So this is still a bit of an experimental fleet, but I like the prospect of it. I don't even know when's the last time I even played with this fleet if I were to be serious, so it's definitely going to take a little bit of work. But I'm going to have fun with it, and I think I'm going to stick with the accelerate batteries just to have a little more convenience since I relied on the Void Stalker for that very reason. the extended range helps so much to at least safely harass and not be put at risk, which is something I'm going to have to teeter on very carefully with this fleet. So let's get going. Alright, let's start us off with more Imperial Navy, and where my Voidstalker fleet was incredibly simplistic, a lot of it again is due to the fact that the Voidstalker has the extended range. Another thing that I had thought about after, or at least after doing my pre-game monologue there, is that I'm going to have a little bit of difficulty concentrating my fire, I think. If I group all these eclipses or falls together, this is 9 pulsars worth of firepower, and ideally, I want to group these Hellbore into 2 separate groups, so that way it's a lot more easier for them to pick off, harass, and maybe even spot some frigates for me. That's a bit of a problem when doing damage though, I feel like, so it's there's a little bit of trial and error and some testing we're going to have to do, and of course some experimentation, because I don't really want to group all the Hellbore together. And where are my manners? Although we got a nice simplistic pathway that goes through here. I seriously doubt I'm going to get to grab this third point uncontested though, but... and hell, this kind of works against me some, because if I want to grab this point, I'm probably going to have to content with 3 of my Hellbore going over there instead. It's what it's probably looking like. And then I'll have to use these cruisers to try and do harassing once they grab the second point. And my opponent's going to know that they're there too, so that hurts a little bit of the element of surprise. But I am going to try and have the extended range on the flagship for that security. Ideally, if I can find the nuance to this fleet, I would like to get rid of this, since it's not nearly as potent as the Voidstalker, for of course obvious reasons. I don't get as much value that way at least. Now, we are facing the Imperial Navy. This could be 4 or 5 ships there, most of which are high in the gas cloud of course. And I think I just go grab this point with the frigates. At least I have that option. It's not as convenient with my cruisers though. And again, I would like to try and have them grab the point together to at least have that little bit of mystery to it, at least slightly. I don't recognize the opponent, so it's very likely they just won't be aware that's a Voidstalker anyway, but... and apparently that's a silent running type of ship. Although I'm messing up, aren't I? Alright. So they hopefully won't ram each other. It's close enough to my liking at least, and I'll grab that point quickly. And these guys hopefully will spot any frigates or that might be around. And we did hear a beacon, which it's just going right to the third point. That doesn't surprise me too much. It's a good precaution, and I heard fighters. Okay, so there is a light cruiser around, and I don't want to inconveniently get spotted by that. Since the one downside that I'm not quite used to is the fact that I don't actually have a carrier ship for these kind of little nuances to deal with fighters and all that. Actually, let me scan her pulse, just in case. I haven't heard any boosting or anything like that, so... Yeesh, if I didn't notice that, they probably would have got randomly spotted there. So I'm lucky I caught that. Because that is a bit out of the... yeah, out in the middle of nowhere, essentially. Now, what is my main concern? Just a fallback. Oh, that's convenient. I hit with torpedoes, that's pretty convenient, so that thing is basically dead.
You have seized a strategic area.
And sadly, the cruiser did get spotted by the Corsair or the scanner pulse as well, but that was just dumb luck. And I should be trying to juke and jive here to at least avoid some of the macro cannons. But this is a lot of the reason why I want to position myself this way. Alright. Now once I get the ability back up, I can scanner pulse this thing. Or fall, yeah, because false maneuver is kind of important here, or at least the Wraithbone shift. I would have liked to kill the frigate, though. That's a bit of a burden.
As the fates decree.
But if I could get a maelstrom on there, that works well for me. And actually, let me get my frigates going, too. Because we got good damage on this flagship or frigate here. Engines are down. And I don't need to tell you how much damage that's going to do. And let's conceal these ships for good measure. Alright, damage is neutered. We still have the dang Emperor's turret to contend ourselves with, but that's going to do a lot of damage in a hurry. Now it's just a matter of dealing with this frigate as quickly as we can. And ideally, again, trying to mitigate this damage that this flagship is taking. Just keep paying this thing. If we could kill the frigate, that's a nice bonus. But we're going to need to get these other ships in here first. And I messed up my control quite horribly. Now, I would love to kill this Cobra. That would make my life a lot easier, but... Let's see, is the Mark still there? Mark's gone.
Yes, Commander. We obey.
And now we have an opportunity to kill the frigate, maybe. Although I messed up with my control, dang it. Killing the frigate would be a big deal, but I'm not getting the opportunity I want. But that is still good damage nonetheless. So let's stasis bomb and prepare for something on the flagship at least.
Taking new position until the end.
That is unfortunate there. I panicked a little bit, thinking maybe I could get damage. Or rush that a little bit, thinking I could kill the frigate. And no, I couldn't. So let's just conceal them. Keep my generators gone. And I would like to try and hit... I'm not going to be able to steal a point anytime soon, so... And with the generator gone on the flagship, this thing's going to take a bit of a beating.
Yes, Commander. Setting sail.
Alright, so let's try and reposition. And ideally get this out of the way for now, because it's just a liability at this point. Alright, boost, conceal. I'm gonna ram myself, that's an unfortunate thing here. And just try and keep this thing alive as long as possible until they burn their abilities. Because it was going good at first, but now I'm getting disorganized. Yep, the flagship's dead. Just it probably had the Emperor's turret off, and sadly, as a result of that, I'm not going to be able to do much about finishing off, so... Let's just kill off the points. I can outrun them. I'm just flying to a beacon there, so that's going to be a bit of a burden. And with the generators gone, I'm probably going to lose this. Kill this thing quickly. There is still light cruiser around to be mindful of, so... Let's see. Alright, we're hit then, if only briefly, but that's not going to do much there with the fighters. Man, I want to say we could kill this light cruiser, but I'm messing up with the shots here, dang it. So that's hurting me quite a bit in that regard. Yeah, I overstayed my welcome. Really good damage, but if I had just stayed back until the next Maelstrom, then the damage can be absurd. Right now, I'm just going to lose on the objective front, I think. Well, that might not be true. I just wish I had torpedoes for this circumstance. And it's a lot of the reason why I kind of need the cruisers to help serve as a little bit of additional muscle, because killing that frigate, I don't think, yeah, that was the only frigate that I was trying to kill for like forever, and it was taking an eternity as a result of that. And those ships are kind of in isolated position now, and my cruiser can easily grab, hell, I can grab more points with that said.
You have accumulated 50% of strategic points.
So let's try and grab points with that said. Again, the plan is to try and force them to spread out so I can punish them for that maneuver. I just sadly don't have the best way to do that. And with no frigate, I could do something now. I just gotta actually get the hull field charged up, or this is gonna screw me over quite heavily.
Lock weapons on target.
The enemy has seized a strategic area. You have seized
Yeah,
a strategic
if anything, it
area.
should still retain the progress I made so far. It's not, should not be a big deal yet. It's the number of lances that are hitting me that's a problem.
As the fates decree.
Now, how do we get kills in here? Well, actually,
Move together.
I kind of already know how to do that.
Yes, Commander.
I just gotta be mindful of Emperor's Tarot, though, is gonna reveal me, which is why I probably want to harass with the light cruisers as much as I can.
Until the end. We obey. We serve.
Alright, so I dodged that easily enough.
Setting
Nope, that wasn't what I wanted. Wrong group.
Let the winds fill us.
Yeah, I'm messing up on my control badly here. Without a doubt.
Is our home.
But can I keep hitting this to keep its shields from recharging? Because again,
Until the end.
I have scanner pulses for this kind of situation.
New position. We move together.
Gotta be mindful of the shots there. My cruiser's not going to be able to take these hits for very long. Especially again with an Emperor's Tarot.
Position. Acknowledged.
Yep, so Emperor's Tarot's in effect.
Setting sail.
I want to get one more pulsar fire before running.
As the fates decree.
And I accidentally grabbed the beacon, but that's actually not a problem there.
Accumulated 75% of strategic points. The enemy has seized a strategic area.
And sadly 50 seconds till repair, so
Yes, Commander.
not much I could do there.
Call forth the Bone Singers.
I do have a points lead still, and I can neutralize this point effectively, but I am hemorrhaging a lot of cruisers at this point.
The
Or a lot of
void is
frigates.
our home. Let the winds fill our sails. Acknowledge.
Let me at least neutralize the point.
Ride the solar winds.
Well, this is a bad position for me because I'm going to get revealed.
Serve
I'm miscontrolling these frigates really poorly,
swiftly.
especially since they also seemed like they rammed themselves.
Setting sail. Ride the solar winds
So I'm doing myself a bit of a disservice here.
as the fates decree. The void is our home.
Alright, so let's try and correct this here. Because I already knew I couldn't win by a direct fight.
Move together.
Yet I overstayed my welcome a tiny bit too.
In our sight. Taking new position.
You have seized. a
Now I'm trying to
strategic
plan my escape route, which since the Emperor's Tarot, well, Emperor's Tarot's actually off right now. It's the beacon that's still on me.
We obey.
So make them overstay their welcome a little bit, although
Withdrawn as
with the
sea
battleship
fortress.
there, that's probably wasn't all that important for
accumulated
me, because they could grab the
75%
points
of
really quickly.
strategic points.
We move
I am
together.
worried about Generator falling off again, because that's basically what killed my other two cruisers.
Let the winds
But I should be able to deal with the macro cannons pretty well. Because if they hunt this down,
setting sail.
that's not helping them a whole lot. There's the generator just immediately dying from the
Taking
lances.
new position.
And luck, unfortunate for me, they killed the generator again in record time.
The void is
So I just gotta outlast this. is what it comes down to with how close the points are.
As the fates decree.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
And if I can outrange them, that helps a ton. Make them waste their time.
We serve.
The only problem is I'm gonna... if they are grabbing the points now, I'm still probably gonna lose, to be fair.
Acknowledged.
Well, actually, this cruiser can still grab the points. Let's threaten to steal the objective from them.
Yes, Commander.
Now will help alleviate this sum. Because again, this could still grab points quickly. It will repair his solar sail in a moment. I just gotta neutralize points. Now, where's the beacon going? No, it's just going over there. That's not a problem. You're kind of ignoring me, is the caveat to keep in mind here. How slow are you going exactly? 222, so you were 280, I believe, before, so that should only be like... Just force them to spread out. That works out fine by me. Not a lot I could do to this thing without support fire, but...
We move together.
I'm about to get support, or at least I will in a moment.
You have seized a
It just may not be
strategic
much of
area.
support
You are
with...
close to victory by strategic points.
Hold that thought, I'm getting shot at, and then keep in mind, lances are going to be terrifying to deal with.
We serve.
So, in theory, I should still, especially if I could kill this cruiser, but again, losing my own ship is going to be a burden,
Sail.
The enemy has seized
and
a
destroy
strategic
engines doesn't
area.
help a whole lot.
Until the end.
Alright, they're about to get the point.
Yes, Commander.
You have seized a strategic area.
The void is
And sadly, I don't have a lot of firepower, so I just gotta somehow deal with the macro cannons.
taking new position.
And then I'm gonna have to waste my pulsar shots because of that.
We obey.
Deck's now gone, is the problem.
As the fates decree. Ride the solar winds.
I do have no, I don't have torpedoes, never mind. So I may have just got myself killed because of the close...
Until the
trying to commit to this engagement.
Let the winds fill our sails.
Yeah, especially if I lose this ship needlessly because of the beacon conveniently spotting me.
Yes, Commander.
Yep, I should win this still. Dang it. I'm all over the place, I suppose, on how I think this might go.
Serve.
I might,
Setting sail.
because they have to grab one more
As the
point still.
fates decree.
There's one thing I could do, and that's deny them from grabbing the objective. All I have to do is sit on it.
Swiftly.
It's the easy way to do that.
Yes,
I overcommit, because we already seen a little bit with the Foy Stalker. This is not a quick fleet. It's all about opportunity attacks, and when they're deathballing, they can't quite get away with it.
Ride the solar winds.
And you're not going to be able to neutralize this point. Yeah, this is over. Maybe not the most exciting match,
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
because again, I let my flagship get isolated and sniped down gradually. And Emperor's Tarot helps a ton with
The enemy is close
Giving
to
it a hard
victory by
time,
strategic
or-
points.
giving at least the one ship a hard time, but if I'm smart about it, I could just separate the flagship and just have it hang back and grab points for crying out loud. Or just roam around and just, again, let the Maelstrom charge up. Imagine if I got a second Maelstrom in with how effective the first one was. Well, not the most exciting match, I will admit. Alright, more Imperial Navy, and of course, I guess that's a given. Since I don't recognize this opponent either, they are jumping into Imperial Navy because that's probably what they're most experienced with, and it's, well, I assume that's what they understand. I guess the campaign encourages a little bit, although with that said, I'm a little bit surprised we don't see more Tyranids, or Necron in that case. Although, ramming and torpedoes can be a lot of fun when it works. Although, I've been thinking about what I said earlier about having almost all my firepower in like one group, and it felt like a bit of a liability there, to some extent. never mind the fact that I probably was staying in range a lot longer than necessary. So I think what I'm going to try and do is separate the cruisers and just have the flagship grab points for now. Actually, with how close they are, I could get away with at least the cruisers all grabbing the points and then having them regroup with the Hellbore afterwards, because this at least conveniently works out for them. I won't argue. I just gotta make sure they're close enough that controlling them is simple, because the last thing I need is for this one to be part of Group 2 and end up crashing into the other falls. So, let's at least give this a try, see if there's more potential here. Definitely a lot more firepower, without a doubt. It's just a slower speed. The fact that it doesn't have solid running could be a bit of a problem, though, as what caused me all that problems. Okay, I guess they recognize me. Alright, let's at least use this as an opportunity to practice this fleet some. Let's see. I lost my train of thought a little bit. I'm trying to see if they raid up or not, so let's get this going. I'm gonna have to be careful that the cruisers... Actually, I'll just group all the cruisers together for now, since they're all grouped up enough as is that I can easily switch out. And it looks like we're dealing with 4 battleships here, so I'm gonna have a difficult time trying to fight this head on. It's just a question if they're using carriers, lances, retributions, or what, though. And this cruiser will just join the rest of the fleet, or these frigates, in a moment. Actually, let me group them up now, just for simplicity's sake.
You have seized a strategic area.
They do at least have a frigate there, and we know where it's at for the time being. Actually, I'm just going to let this cruiser grab the point. Hopefully the frigates can reveal at least the ship for me, if they deployed a little bit on the side. Hell, that's grabbing the points really quickly, so there's probably several frigates there, if I had to guess.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Otherwise, it's like I said, I suspect these to be battleships of some kind.
You have seized a
If they're Grand
strategic
Cruisers, that's
area.
not nearly
The
as
enemy has
terrifying.
seized a strategic
Mainly
area.
because I could do a lot of damage on their prow as well, since they won't have the A3 armor. But yeah, that point grabbed a lot quicker than I suspected, so let's be careful of that. And actually, let's group these guys up as quickly as I can. Alright. This is convenient. I'm just gonna wait till I grab this point first, but...
You have seized a strategic area.
Aha! Caught you red-handed, buddy. I'll deal with you in a moment. Oh, that is unfortunate. I would have loved to have been able to snipe that thing down, because a Cobra can do that really easily. Actually, I messed it up on control again. Yeesh, there's a lot of ships here. Sadly, I'm messing up again, but... Wow, they even have a light cruiser there as a frigate. Let's get this out of here quickly. I'm a little bit shocked that there's a light cruiser. Nope. I'm fine here, and I have false maneuver. Just gotta crisis manage this now, since again, I have no solid running to kind of hide these ships. But we know there's a light cruiser around. I just gotta reveal it. Intercept these bombers is probably the best thing I can do. And weather the fire. My control has been bad so far, it feels like, but hey. We can deal with this, and they are Oberons, maybe? It's possible those are Oberons, they're only 2 fighter ships. But at least we could kill them off. Do we have any more scanner pulses? No. Well, we do, but there's no cruiser we encountered. Now get this thing protected, kill off the bombers. And I have 3 points, so the strategy for something that's all hit and run based should be I should wait for them to make the mistake. And try and punish that as much as I can after the fact. Because I know there's a light cruiser around. I've just been doing a terrible job listening for it. Oh, they're all done. Well, I'm trying to figure out what this fleet is, because I was assuming there were capitalist ships, but we got Marses, we got Dictator, we got Dominators, rather. Interesting fleet composition.
Acknowledged. We move together
And the light cruiser is still nowhere to be found, which I'm kind of okay with.
until the end.
Although, it's not very entertaining if I don't try to put an effort into engaging my opponent. How to best do that, though?
We serve.
Well, the one plus side is I don't have to worry about the Nova cannons so much. Oh, and I found you, my friend.
As the fates decree.
So I don't need... I'm just going to have them go after the Cobra. Try and keep an eye out for our light cruiser, which is around somewhere.
Until the end.
And actually I have extended range, so I could probably start harassing this some. Oh, this is convenient. I can't get too carried away, though, because you never know when Dominators might do, or Nova cannons might connect.
Let the winds fill.
Alright, so stasis bomb there. I timed that Wraithbone shift quite well, thankfully. But I'm waiting for the Nova cannons. Again, got sloppy, but
Yes, Commander.
this might hurt a bit.
We move together.
If I can only take one Nova cannon, that'd be great.
Setting sail.
There. And thankfully, I'm killing this thing nicely. That's convenient, and the engines being destroyed helps a lot. And of course, the lock-on stance. This was it, spear target focus or runic targeting node helps a ton. But again, my control's not nearly as good as was last time. And it goes without reason. I should be grabbing these points.
Ride the solar winds.
And actually, now I have an opportunity to do damage to them.
We obey.
I probably should have forced them to do a boost out of the stasis bomb as opposed to put it in front of them, but
Void is our home.
I think I'm okay for the moment.
We serve. Swiftly.
Just gotta be mindful again of the...
Acknowledge.
Uphold that thought. I'm doing a terrible job here.
Until the end.
Try and focus on the flagship at this point. At least, well, I'm focusing the deck, but I should have gone after the engine with that said.
As the fates decree.
That way I could have immediately got a Maelstrom in on that.
Ride the
And now that I got my wish.
Yes, Commander. We obey.
Alright, just get on out. We're grabbing the points, so they're perfectly fine.
We move together.
And torpedoes might kill a flagship.
You have seized a strategic
Ah.
area.
Not that it matters, I suppose, but missed out.
Hold all ordnance.
The enemy has accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Lock weapons on target.
Alright, so not a lot of damage I could do here, but if you're gonna help me, fine.
Position. Let the winds fill. Setting sail.
Now, do your damage.
We serve.
You got your torpedoes about to come up. And engines just conveniently died there. Oh, you were the one firing Nova cannons. That I didn't realize. This was a convenient time to fire torpedoes with that said.
As the fates decree.
Alright, so that worked out, sort of.
Strategic areas.
Although these guys are a little bit late to grabbing the point, but that'll be correct in a moment.
Escort vessel.
This feels a lot better in terms of firepower, but it's really awkward just due to the falls not being able to conceal themselves at will. It's why the Void Stalker is so damn valuable to have for these type of settings.
New position.
And I can't see you, so I might as well blindly fire at you.
About with grace. As the fates decree.
So I'm hoping, well, now that we see it, but oh yeah, if it was in a mutiny, I probably would have been able to shoot it anyway if I had just waited long enough. And generator's only temporarily gone, but we're in this situation again where my ship might likely die if I let it keep getting hit, which is hard to do when I'm facing the prow.
Enemy
Thankfully, these two ships are going to dodge it, but the flagship's a bit of a different story.
Acknowledge. We obey. Yes, Commander.
Alright, just get him out. I have the points, so I'm in really good shape, considering. It's just a third of my firepower I'm missing out on is the only thing. So, start turning around, they should be able to join shortly, I'm hoping.
Strategic area. The enemy is seizing one of your strategic areas.
And again, just wait for the Maelstrom to come back off cooldown, so maybe I could take advantage of it. Since I only have 4 torpedoes, this is not going to be as effective. Yeah, only 2 torpedo hits. Hell, it may even only be 1 torpedo hit, to be honest.
Setting sail.
But I'm doing fine here. Oh, he's got the right idea. They're relentlessly pursuing the flagship, and I have no stasis bombs to punish this. But once they burn all the combustion gauge, I should be okay.
Until the end.
I'm just messed up on my control again.
Let the winds fill.
And oh yeah, you're in a different group, or I took you off the group.
New position.
But this flagship's not going to be doing any damage, and I'm gambling on the fact they burnt all the combustion gauge for this Maelstrom. So it's bound to do damage because of that. Dang it, I messed up with my control group again. We'll get this figured out. It's tense, but this is a bit of an experimental fleet, but I love the potential of the frigates, so I honestly believe they could do some great things. This is just probably not the best demonstration for now, just because I am spending most of my time running away.
You are close to victory by strategic points.
Yes, Commander.
Alright, so yeah. I'm not happy about these matches, I won't lie, but let's be honest, this is definitely a very technical type of fleet. I love the prospect of all 3 falls being together, but if I can't pressure with them or do damage with them, they're also a huge liability because they don't have the convenience of range like a Void Stalker. Because keep in mind, with the extended range alone, this thing basically is at maximum range of any lances that could shoot at it already, even with the Emperor's Tarot mark, like what we saw in the first match. So it's really easy for him to just fly away if my opponent's not chasing me. And even then, it has the durability, or rather the resilience of being a battleship, on top of the extra hit point pool to better take those critical hits. Which is why I think the first fleet that I utilized before with the Void Stalker and 4 Aurors is a better starting fleet, at least compared to what I just did with the Falls and Hellbore, and certainly not the double Void Stalker. I absolutely hate this fleet because it sacrifices so much power, and never mind, it's only 2 ships. One is normally going to be running away all the time, and it's possible, if the other Void Stalker's not in the right position, you could just straight up outrun this thing. Never mind just run away from the bombers all day, so they're not really effective a lot of the time. But I absolutely hate this fleet, and it's what I see most from the Corsairs, if I were to be honest. But I think I'm going to give this fleet another try, and hopefully we could do it a little bit better. Hopefully.